Welcome to 365 English. Listen to stories easily. We help you learn English happily through various stories. The speed is slow and the pronunciation is clear. The more you listen, the more you will enjoy it. If you like it, please like it, leave a message to chat, and don't forget to subscribe. The starting point of International Labor Day, the blood and fire of the Chicago workers' movement in 1886. In the United States at the end of the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution had swept across the country, and factories in the city sprang up like mushrooms after rain. Capitalists did everything they could to squeeze labor in order to obtain higher profits. For ordinary workers, they had to go to the factory before dawn in the early morning and could not go home until late at night. They worked 12 to 16 hours a day, but their wages were pitifully meager. There was no social security, no holidays, let alone any form of labor protection. In this era, behind the roar of the factory, there were the bitterness and silence of thousands of families. A railroad repairman named Henry was the father of 3 children. His wife Martha sewed clothes at home every day and supported the family with odds and ends. The children hardly ever saw their father awake, because he went out every day before dawn, and the children had already fallen asleep when he returned home. But repression could not last forever. On May 1, 1886, 350,000 angry workers emerged on the streets of Chicago. They held homemade signs and shouted slogans, demanding an 8-hour workday. This struggle was the first nationwide strike in American history. Chicago became the center of the storm and a witness to blood and fire. The protests lasted for several days. On May 4, an originally peaceful rally was held in Chicago's Haymarket Square. When the speaker was preaching workers' rights to the crowd, the police suddenly intervened and tried to disperse the crowd. Just as the two sides confronted each other, a bomb thrown by an unidentified person exploded. Chaos broke out instantly. The police fired back, and the scene was a river of blood. In the end, 7 policemen and several workers died, and countless people were injured. The Haymarket incident shocked the country. 8 anarchists were arrested, 4 of whom were hanged, and another committed suicide in prison. Despite weak evidence, they were still regarded as criminals who created violence. They had no chance to defend themselves, and they became victims of the times. But this bloody struggle has not been forgotten. In 1889, at the Second International Congress held in Paris, France, delegates unanimously passed a resolution. May 1 of each year will be designated as International Labor Day to commemorate the heroic struggle of Chicago workers. This decision quickly spread around the world and became a symbolic festival for global workers to unite and fight for their rights. The establishment of this festival is not only a review of history, but also a global call. People are not machines, and labor should have dignity. Back to that Chicago worker family. Henry was fired after the strike and was subsequently beaten by the police during a street protest. His injured leg could no longer do heavy physical labor, and he could only rely on his friends to get by. But his story was spread by his peers, his photos were printed on leaflets, and his experience became a true footnote to the workers' struggle. He failed to witness the birth of Labor Day, but he pushed history forward with his blood. Have we really gotten rid of the oppression of that era today? In 2025, many places around the world are still fighting for fair labor. In Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Cambodia, thousands of female textile workers still work overtime every day and receive wages below the living standard. In France and Germany, large-scale union demonstrations took to the streets again to oppose the postponement of retirement age and the increase in working hours. In the United States, many deliverymen and warehouse workers called on platform companies to guarantee minimum hourly wages and rest time. Labor Day is not just a holiday but a memory of fighting. It is not a simple holiday but a heavy commemoration. We may enjoy the May Day holiday every year, but we may ignore the meaning behind it. It is a right that countless people have exchanged for their lives and sacrifices, and it is a cry of "I want to live like a person." In today's workplace, words such as role, desperate, and 996 are popular again, and young people often feel powerless and anxious. They work overtime until late at night, doing work without a sense of belonging, just like workers 100 years ago. And the explosion in the Haymarket seems to remind us, if we don't cherish our rights, they will slip away quietly. If we don't stick to the bottom line, history will repeat itself. We have seen a young teacher in the UK join a union strike to protest against budget cuts in education. She said, "I don't want to be the creator of the next generation deprived of their dreams." An Amazon worker in the United States filmed a video of himself carrying a package while breastfeeding, denouncing the company's lack of humanity. Members of the Subway Driver Association in South Korea publicly stated that respecting labor is the bottom line of society. Today, short videos have become a powerful tool for communication. If you take a minute to understand the Chicago Haymarket incident, you may have a deeper understanding of the word holiday. If you are willing to stop and think, are my current working hours fair? Then this struggle more than 100 years ago was not in vain. Don't forget that behind every holiday is a struggle. Behind every right is a struggle. Labor is not lowly, but silence is. So on Labor Day today, you might as well say to yourself, "I work not just to live, but to live with dignity." Perhaps this is what Henry, Martha, and countless workers want us to remember. Happy May Day, not just a celebration, but also a commemoration. You did a great job today. Thank you for watching 365 English. Don't forget to like, leave a message, and comment. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.